Hello and welcome to AUCTV. This is Irhab Ismail. After the recent allegations of some sexual harassments occurred to some AUC students, AUCTV is conducting several reports and interviews to make sure that everyone inside the community knows how to report any sexual harassments could occur, who should they address, and what are the actions that could be taken. I'm so glad to have my guest today, Ms. Reem Al-Maghrabi. She is the coordinator of the Title IX office. Hello and thank you for joining me.
Hello, Rehab. Thank you for inviting me for this. I'm very excited to be with you.
Thank you. Not all members of the AUC community know the title and the role of the Title IX office. Would you please briefly tell us what do you exactly do and what this title means?
Sure. My role as the Title IX coordinator is to be the point of contact for receiving harassment and discrimination complaints from different community members. And definitely I work with a lot of our community members to coordinate response in a timely manner to the complainants. This also includes applying interim measures at times. By definition, a Title IX coordinator is someone who is a neutral party, who is not advocating for both complainant or respondent. So just to clarify to our community members, what do we mean by a complainant or respondent? A complainant is basically the person who files a complaint, and the respondent is the person who is the allegation is being filed against him for an allegation of violating the policy of anti-harassment and non-discrimination policy. This means that I don't advocate for anyone, and I'm not responsible for defending any of the parties involved. My role also includes explaining our policy and making sure that all community members are aware of the resources that we have at AUC, for example, medical and counseling services, as well as other different resources on campus that they might need to refer to after filing their complaints.
Okay, who can report the cases to the Title IX office? We're talking about students, faculty, staff.
Okay, so anyone could submit reports to the Title IX office. This definitely includes our staff, students, and faculty. We also expand this to our alumni. We may also receive complaints or reports from campus visitors and different visitors that could be on campus for, a sponsored event, for example. And we also do receive, or we may receive reports from for events or any cases that happened off campus and on a university-sponsored event. Under the new structure, the Office of Title IX will be the hub for receiving all complaints from different community members, and it will not be restricted to a specific area on campus, the academic or the student life area. It will basically be a hub for receiving different or reports from different community members.
Okay, can you tell us more like how anyone can report? And then what are the procedures you follow after receiving these reports?
Okay, sure. We do provide different channels for reporting. This is for the convenience, for complainants to find us in different locations. So the first is going to be the online reporting form that will be included at the bottom of this video. Also, on a normal operating day on campus, anyone can come to the office and we can have one-on-one meetings. Also, community members can are able to reach out to us by email, and also my email is included at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, what are the procedures you follow after receiving these complaints?
AUC responds to any and all alleged violations of our anti-harassment and non-discrimination policy, which is published on the AUC webpage, of course. We have two types of complaints resolution process, formal and informal. So to make it easier to understand the difference between the two, the Title IX coordinator determines if an informal resolution is appropriate for the alleged violation. And in this case, we have to be receiving consent from both the complainant and respondent, where both parties may agree to appropriate remedies. Our formal complaints, which is the other track for resolving the complaints that we could be receiving, starts with the submission of a complaint on one of the channels that I have just mentioned in my in the previous question. First, my role is to determine whether the circumstances of the report determine if the university has a jurisdiction over the parties involved in the report, and that the complaint actually, in fact, violates our anti-harassment and non-discrimination policy. Our office then may schedule appointments with the complainant for what we call an intake meeting. This is to get more information about the circumstances that happened, and to understand, more details about the complaint that we received. Once we've confirmed that there has been, a violation under this policy, our office, in coordination with our other offices, may apply interim measures to prevent, further violations under the policy. And the next step is going to be to start communication with the respondent in this case, which is sending a notification of the charges and scheduling, what would be the start of our investigation with the respondent. Again, this might involve support from other community members and other offices, but we make sure that this is done with respect to our confidentiality measures. And of course, at the end of this investigation, both sanctions and/or remedial actions are applied if warranted.
Okay, can we talk more about how can you keep this process confidential to protect those who report and those who are accused?
Confidentiality is a very important aspect in our policy. Complainants come to us and they always ask about this. So thank you for raising this question, Rehab. Complainants may actually request to keep their identity confidential once submitting their complaints. So while this may limit our investigation, because we may not be able to share certain details in the report with the respondent to ensure that confidentiality is met. During our coordination of response to the alleged violations under this policy, we never reveal the identity of the reporter or the respondent unless they consent.
Okay, what are the kinds of action could be taken by the office towards staff, alumni, or student if it was confirmed that he was involved in such sexual harassment or sexual misconduct?
So all cases reported, Rehab, and received by our office are definitely handled. And we do have a timeline for handling these cases, and it's mentioned under our grievance and appeals policy. AUC, as mentioned multiple times, has a zero tolerance towards allegations of violations under this policy. So sanctions may vary from warning and a no contact order all the way to suspension and or expulsion for students and termination of contracts for faculty and staff.
Okay, another question, maybe it could be also important. If anyone had an experience, a past experience that included any sexual misconduct or sexual harassment happened previously, can they still report, and what is like the average time or duration they could report after this action took place?
For any allegations of a violation under the policy of anti-harassment and non-discrimination, we do encourage everyone who have experienced this in the past to come forward. It doesn't really make a difference, the time, unlike maybe other violations that could be related to a specific timeline that you have to report within a certain duration, otherwise the report may not be valid. We do encourage any community member who have had a past experience, and maybe even if they have reported this, to come again and report and make sure that they have submitted this on one of the tools that I have indicated in a previous question, and report these allegations. It's never going to be harm to report. We do encourage people to definitely report and come forward and maybe seek support if they want to have, if they have questions about the procedure, what's going to happen, what information do they need to know. They can come, they can email me, drop me an email, and I will definitely answer within hours to respond to any question that they may have about, what would happen, what information should I be reporting, is it okay to report now? Definitely encouraging everyone to come forward and report.
Okay, and my last question, I want to know, like, there will be a review for the current and the previous reports that you received through the online system?
So any information about reports and our handling timeline and maybe our resolution, can be released for audit purposes, maybe. This happens while, keeping and maintaining complete confidentiality. And as I mentioned before, even at that level, we still do maintain confidentiality for the case details and the identity information for all the parties involved. So as an answer to your question, yes.
Okay, and finally, do you have any message you want to tell our AUC members? You wanted to motivate them to do anything or to report? You can do that now.
Yes, I would like everyone to really know that we're here to answer questions. Please use us as your resources, ask questions. Don't be afraid to know more about the policy, understand the policy. Even for, and also my advice goes to students, if you're not sure about, what does this policy mean, you're confused about certain things that are mentioned, please ask us and we will be happy to respond. So as I said, if you can add the email address again, this is my email address and I'm reachable at it. So please do send us your questions and we will be happy to answer.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Reem Al-Maghrabi, the coordinator of the Title IX office. Thank you everyone for following up this interview and stay tuned for our next reports by AUCTV.